Hello everyone, welcome to Hopeful Moments 1. Today, we will listen to a story about the stress and frustration in the workplace, as well as reflections on how companies need to pay more attention to evaluating and recognizing employee contributions in order to maintain performance and sustainable development. Today's story will take you through an unexpected situation. The storyteller, who had been facing unreasonable demands and pressures from many departments within the company, is suddenly invited by the head of data transformation to join a new department. The surprising part is that after feeling overlooked and facing many difficulties, work unexpectedly presents him with an opportunity he never saw coming. If you find this story interesting and filled with meaningful lessons, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more valuable insights. Before my software company was acquired, we worked in a flexible, multitasking environment where everyone not only completed their own tasks but also supported the tasks of others. A multi-hat situation was something we didn't just accept, but appreciated, as it fostered a creative and challenging space where every member could contribute in multiple areas. Our company focused on leveraging the strengths of each individual and the team as a whole. We didn't just perform our own jobs, but work together to come up with the best solutions for our customers. For example, one person could lead a customer from the first demo session to the implementation and training phases, while others brought excellent technical skills or extensive experience in the customer's field. This collaboration created an efficient working system where we could solve complex problems together. Customers often sent us feedback and lists of improvement requests. Rather than just passively listening, we would discuss and propose changes or improvements to software functionality to best suit real-world needs. This not only helped the software continuously improve but also built a trustworthy relationship with the customers. After receiving new ideas, we quickly created functionality mock-ups to discuss with the development team, allowing solutions to be implemented smoothly without issues when going into production. As a result, we consistently received positive feedback from customers, not only because the software worked well but also because of the diligent care they received from us. The strong relationships between departments, especially between us and the development team, created a working environment that was not only efficient but also very friendly. People didn't just work together, but shared knowledge, helping each other overcome technical challenges. Some of us could write queries or snippets of code to support developers, which helped reduce complex questions and save time for everyone. Additionally, when there were no specific tasks, we would take customer support calls. We had an intelligent call routing system that allowed receptionists to direct issues to the right person for a quick resolution. Customers were always satisfied knowing that when they faced an issue, someone would immediately address it and, if necessary, inform them of any wait times. This helped us build strong trust with customers, as they understood that delays weren't because we didn't care, but because we wanted to ensure every issue was handled properly and effectively. After my software company was acquired, the parent company decided to restructure everything into a one-job-only working model. This meant that everyone would focus solely on their tasks without the flexibility of multitasking. However, with staff cuts, I became the only one left to take on a large portion of the work we had previously done. To maintain operations, I had to work with almost every department in the company: sales, product innovation and improvement, product advocacy, implementation, development, data transformation, and support. At first, I didn't mind, because the work was still similar to what I was doing before. I was still involved in every project, still able to contribute as before. Everything started off well when the CEO genuinely asked me, "Would you mind helping Team X with Project Y?" He didn't just ask, but also showed appreciation by paying for my business trips and occasionally giving me a day off. It was a fair exchange, and I felt recognized, as if I was doing a favor for the company. However, gradually, as the company expanded and other departments recognized my flexibility, things began to change. Departments began to expect more from me and demand my time. Instead of asking when I could participate in projects, I suddenly found my schedule filled with increasing tasks from other departments. The situation worsened when I was asked to chair important meetings without prior notice. Not only that, but I had to prepare all the content for the meetings without support or collaboration from other departments. This made me feel abandoned, with no one really supporting my work. The situation got even worse when I noticed that many of my proposals, the suggestions I had made when asked, were being overturned by people who didn't understand the work. These people had no experience with the software, the specialized field, or database programming. They simply didn't know anything, so my contributions weren't taken seriously. I was asked to provide ideas but was then ignored, which added pressure and further intensified the time demands on me as issues worsened. At the same time, the new development team I was working with couldn't complete tasks effectively. They provided numerous reasons to delay action, only working when someone else confirmed and collected all the necessary information. This made it even harder for me to solve customer issues, because I couldn't complete my work without the required support. External requests also became stricter, making me feel like I was stuck in an endless chain of work. Moreover, when I faced difficulties obtaining data or access from customers, I couldn't resolve my tasks, which only frustrated me further. But the worst part was the lack of understanding and coercion from my boss. Although I couldn't proceed with work without data, I was still asked to provide documents, results, and reports. There was no concept of waiting in this company because, to my boss, my job was to call and bother customers until all stakeholders provided the information we needed. This really wore me down and made it almost impossible to continue working effectively. I really wasn't happy anymore in a job that I once loved deeply. Each passing day felt worse than the last. Although I had dedicated all my heart and energy to contribute to the company, I was treated with indifference and received no deserved recognition. Then, I received my employee review, which seemed like a well-earned acknowledgement after all my relentless efforts. However, it only made me more disappointed. Despite receiving excellent feedback about my work, my raise was nothing more than a cost of living increase that everyone else got, with nothing special. This really offended me because I knew how much I had contributed, but wasn't rewarded accordingly. What frustrated me even more was when I saw sales staff, who were not directly involved in the deals, receiving commissions from contracts I had worked tirelessly to complete. I was the one who actually closed those deals, yet I didn't receive any reward that reflected my efforts. This was the complete opposite of my old company, where going above and beyond was always properly recognized. At my previous company, I had doubled my salary in just a few years through hard work and dedication. But now, I felt disheartened, financially strained, and almost as if I received nothing for my efforts. Each day, I found myself in endless arguments with my boss. He was completely indifferent to my commitments, not understanding that I couldn't force third-party companies to fulfill my requests simply because I needed data or access from customers. These debates led nowhere and only made me more exhausted and frustrated. I started to feel like I was standing alone, with no support or recognition from my superiors. I no longer knew how to change the situation, all that remained was disappointment and mounting fatigue. Not long after, I received a call from the data transformation department head. His voice was full of surprise and appreciation as he mentioned that some people in his team had noticed breakthrough solutions for the dev and data-related issues in Teams conversations, and that these ideas had come from a random person in the deployment team for just a moment. I was surprised, but also a little proud, to hear him talk about my work. He explained that during a customer interaction, they praised the work I had done in transforming financial data from an old system. Specifically, the dataset related to industries like construction, coding, fire, planning, and police, which I had meticulously and thoroughly prepared. I had adjusted the data with simple yet effective changes like renaming record types, trimming leading spaces, or adding zeros so customers could easily use Excel, making everything feel much easier for them. He said the customer couldn't stop praising me and was amazed to learn I had done all that work on my own, while his team usually had to divide the task among at least 5 people. This really made me feel proud, but at the same time, it also made me realize I had been working beyond my limits. The data transformation manager immediately offered me a new role and said I could start working part-time with him for a few hours each week. He also said he saw the bullshit I was dealing with and promised to help me take the other departments off my workload. I felt truly understood and appreciated. He was someone I could trust. However, the peace of the conversation was broken when my boss interrupted the call, clearly annoyed that I was talking on the company's phone app. She demanded I explain what wasting time meant. Then she started criticizing me for incomplete orders and lack of updates on work progress. "You have time to chat with him but can't call customers," she said. Although I tried for the millionth time to explain the workload overload, the requests from other departments, and my inability to force third-party companies to provide data, all I got back was a lack of understanding. "I'm tired of your excuses. Just do your job and keep quiet." Her words were like a slap in the face, making me feel as if all my efforts were meaningless. Unable to bear it any longer, I called the data transformation department head and asked if I could switch to working full-time with him. He couldn't hide his excitement, replying immediately, "Damn. As soon as yesterday, my friend." "That's awesome. I just spoke with assistant manager, and he almost lost his mind when he found out I had you working part-time. Take the day off, have a beer to celebrate, I'll take care of the transfer and meet you tomorrow morning." And just like that, everything changed. I felt like I had been released from a work nightmare. Everything suddenly became clear, and I was welcomed with open arms, a change I had been waiting for so long. After following my new boss's advice, I had a beer to celebrate. The relief finally came after those months of tension and heaviness. I had fought in this environment for too long, and now, at last, I could relax. The next day, I decided to confront the old departments and my former boss without compromise. I clearly told them I would no longer help them. No threats or ambiguity. They seemed unable to accept this truth and continued to impose work on my schedule. By now, I wasn't yielding anymore. I deleted them from my calendar and focused entirely on my own work, remaining firmly silent. And then, everything started to collapse. While I never considered myself an exceptional person, the reality was that I had become the only one they could rely on for many important tasks. These tasks required in-depth knowledge that I had spent years acquiring. And instead of coming to ask for my help, everyone just created demands and attacks. This made me lose all patience. In an email with the CEO CC'd, the support manager asked why I didn't care to help them anymore. I responded bluntly, "For the same reason you don't care to clean the restrooms or reconnect the building's cables. It's not my job. Old boss told me to just do my job and keep quiet. You should ask her." I couldn't continue to endure that disrespect and injustice. Some sales and promotion staff tried to bypass me, asking my new boss if I could help them with demos for clients. He responded immediately, "Sure, if you're willing to do some data transformations for me." From that moment, things changed rapidly. The performance metrics for the departments I had previously been involved with, especially support, plummeted. Their issue resolution time increased from an average of 2 hours to 8 days. Sales for the product line I had worked on dropped from an 85% success rate to under 25%. The CEO reported a more than 60% decrease in sales, though I didn't know the exact numbers. The dev and product teams, once boasting 100% customer satisfaction, now stood at 60%. The implementation team failed to install crucial components, leading to at least one contract cancellation and refund requests. I watched everything crumble without regret. My decision had directly impacted these departments, and the rift was beyond repair. The injustice I had faced earlier led me to this decision, and in the end, everything was back on track. Just like in the stories you often read, the superior of my old boss, the one who had once assessed my team and was a childhood friend of the CEO, came to see me privately. He said that the CEO had noticed something strange: all the departments that unfocus my chi no longer works for suddenly have the worst numbers in the company's history. Strange, right? And he continued, asking, was there something special that pushed that guy to his limit? The superior of my old boss didn't hesitate to explain that I had been furious because the evaluations and salary I received didn't reflect the effort and dedication I put in. Requests from other departments were becoming increasingly unreasonable, expectations were too high, and meaningless documentation kept being demanded. He understood me, and at that point, he announced a major change. From now on, The two main criteria for annual salary increases would be individual output and departmental performance. Those with poor performance would not receive raises. This was a clear message, not only for me but also for others. The results were truly remarkable. After that announcement, several department heads began to leave, and a few others transitioned to internal roles. This wasn't surprising since they couldn't maintain work efficiency without the support I had previously provided. As for me, instead of just sitting around complaining, I rolled up my sleeves and got to work, creating and developing tools that saved my team thousands of hours of manual labor. Our performance numbers began to soar, creating a significant shift in work efficiency. My new boss was extremely pleased with this outcome and thrilled to witness our bus, filled with laughter and satisfaction from the improvements, now heading straight to the bank, delivering impressive results. What I had once overlooked was now being rewarded as it should. And I realized that sometimes, taking a step back and reassessing everything is the only way to create a breakthrough change. This story is a vivid testament to the power of perseverance and changing the way we work. Faced with difficulties, lack of recognition, and unrealistic demands, the protagonist not only accepted the hardship but also found a way to change the system from within. Courageously stopping support for unreasonable demands and focusing on their own work not only helped the individual achieve the recognition they deserved but also propelled the entire team to optimal performance. When your efforts are not properly rewarded, don't hesitate to change your approach and demand fairness. Sometimes, to make a big change, you have to be brave enough to say no to things that no longer serve your purpose. Consistency in maintaining your principles and staying focused on your goals will help you find opportunities and make unexpected progress. The only way to overcome difficulties is not to give up, and sometimes, changing your approach to work is the key to success.